Hi, I'm just very, very quickly really on the question about family. I think that's being played out, isn't it? I'm not sure if I can say there's an answer to that as such at the moment. I think it's certainly true that the Tories are massively, ideologically and financially attacking the family, taking away benefits, etc., etc., cutting pay, so that really forcing people to be more of a family unit. And I think that's certainly something I think we're going to see more of. I think that will play out, actually. One of the things I just wanted to say that I didn't say before, I think, you know, the point that I was making about the woman who, on the flexible working thing, and the way that it was solved, was that it was actually, in fact, bottom up at the end of the day. That was solved in her staff room with her, you know, with her colleagues, people arguing to take her side. And it's that kind of like network of relationships that we need to have at work to bring up these issues and to fight on these issues that I think is really, really crucial. And it's not really happening a lot at the moment, especially not over gender issues, frankly. A lot of people feel really unsure about how to handle flexible working cases and that kind of thing. So these issues have to be foregrounded, they have to be argued that they should be at the centre of what we do, that the Tribune and the Press should be at the centre of what we do in our union branches, but also in our community fights. You know, we should be, at the same time as fighting bedroom tax, fighting to stop the closure of a rape crisis centre. You know, those sorts of things need to be raised. We need to raise the general level of politics. Now, that's not an easy thing, it's going to take years. It does take extreme unity. That's the hope at the moment. To see the unity in the room at the moment between us is the way forward. And I look forward to an awful lot more of that.
Thanks. Before everybody goes, I want to just thank the ISN for having me to speak. It's been really, really interesting listening to all the contributions. When we talk about feminism, about women's oppression, or about whatever you want to call it, personally, I favour the word feminism precisely because that's the word that seems to scare the most people. And every time I hear, well, we shouldn't, call ourselves feminists, I'm going to say, why not? Why not? What is it about that word that upsets you so much? And most of the reason I call myself a feminist, if I use the word independently, is to piss off people like that. And I think that kind of antagonism is occasionally useful. I call myself a socialist feminist, although I think that socialist feminism is primarily something you do rather than an identity. Because I believe that feminism is fundamentally a labour issue, women's oppression is fundamentally an issue of work and power, and that socialism and work and power are fundamentally affected by gender and sexuality. And the capitalist patriarchy is built on gender divisions that are used to keep the working class apart. I think one of the biggest fights that we have as people interested in working class politics and engaged in that struggle is how to stop issues of gender dividing the working class as they have been used to for centuries upon centuries. People's power within the working class relations, as China said. There is a tendency within all organisations, not just left organisations, to talk about misogyny as something that really happens elsewhere. If you look at organisations on the right and the far right in the UK, they'll always tell you that the real sexism and the real misogyny happens overseas, and it's in cultures that are not white, that cultures that are not, traditionally British. They're the people who are really sexist and misogynist. And then I go on the left, and I hear exactly the same arguments. Apart from it's us saying, well, maybe we have our own problems, but really it's the Tory party and the far right who are really the sexists and really the misogynists. And I think that othering is precisely what we need to fight. There is a massive problem taking place on the left right now with the very structure of the politics that we're doing. I'm not in the party, and it's I don't want to be programmatic in any way. I just want to flag up the fact that this is one of the differences between me and a lot of the anarchists I associate with, because it's the internet and we are allowed differences of opinion, is that some people I'm very close to politically believe that organisations like the ISN, like the Socialist Workers' Party, that the organised left as a whole doesn't matter, and I disagree. I think that the organised left is hugely important, that it continually punches above its weight and that above its weight, and it will continue to have a determining influence on what happens in British politics and in international politics. And given that, we have to recognise that this is a massive crisis, of a massive cultural crisis, a massive crisis of ideology and of conscience. And now is the time when you all get to decide. You all get to decide whether or not you're going to be relevant in the next 100 years, and you're going to be able to do the job and the work that so desperately needs to be done in Britain and across the world to fight the forces of capitalist patriarchy and of austerity that are crushing everybody slowly. And I really, really hope that you guys make the right decision. That's it.
Just before I go down the back in, I've got my announcements, so I'll do that now. At the back, I've got a copy of our new publication called Cactus, which is a journal for £2. There's an ugly man at the back waving it. But yeah, that's the back of the bar to buy that. And we've also got sign-up sheets going about, so if you're interested in sign up for the IS network, we do allow people to be in other organisations and be in the IS network as well, so it's just about a network. So if you're in the SWP particularly, please sign up. Yeah, at 8 o'clock, the Association of Music Marxism is putting on a gig upstairs, so we're breaking up after it's finished, but please hang about, have a drink, have a chat, and get things done again at 8. Yeah.
Thank you. I think the speakers and all the contributions from the forum have been absolutely fantastic, and I'm really excited about the future and where we can go. I don't know what to say exactly to convince you to be a feminist. I think what I wanted to ask you is, what is your idea of feminism? I don't know how you can completely reject a movement that's really quite heterogeneous. It's not homogenous in any way. What kind of feminism are you talking about? Radical feminism, anarcho-feminism, socialist feminism? I mean, the reason why I'm a revolutionary socialist, the reason I still continue to call myself a feminist is when I'm out there in different movements like the Start Walk, the reason why I'm out there is that I'm outraged about sexual assault, I'm outraged about rape, I'm outraged about abuse against women, and so are the thousands of other women that I'm marching with, and I have to find a way to relate to them, not to try to alienate and isolate them away from me. And I think that is what fundamentally the SUP has really gone out of its way to do. Because when I joined the SUP in Swiss, I came across like a group of amazing young men and women who shared ideas that I did, and then when we tried to contribute to the debate, we were called radical feminists who wanted to put women, who thought that women can never consent to having sex, and we wanted to put them in chastity belts because we wanted to talk about power relations between individuals. This is completely and utterly bonkers. I wasn't present in the 1980s when you were having a very a dramatic polemic with other feminists. I'm present now, and I want you to engage with me and not straw men that don't actually exist. I think I went to Marxism and continuing to go to Marxism, and I'm actually not surprised at the completely outrageous and bonkers ideas that are coming out of the CC and the Loyalists, but I'm actually really excited and inspired by everything that people have said right now. And just like as Laurie said, you know, this is a make or break moment for us in the left, and it's time we really got our act together.
Thank you everyone for coming. Please do behind the bar. We're here all night. We'll stay behind the bar as much as possible. Thanks very much.